this business inside and out.
Brandon Simmons here, and I am with one of my coaching students, Damius Alexander. Damius is from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? And so he started in our group coaching program just about a year ago. So I wanted to ask him about his very first deal and then how things have been for your first year in the business. So tell us about your first deal. How did you get it?
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. So my first deal, actually it came from
And he's making me feel taller now. Just leaning over.
So yeah, I don't want to stand up too long. But no, man, I mean, my first deal, you know, it's one of those, like, I don't even want to revisit it, but my first deal was basically, you know, it was kind of like a bandit sign marketing, if you want to call it that.
Okay, all right.
The reason why I say this is because I know what I know now. I got lucky. I didn't put out as many bandit signs as I should have, but my first deal, I put bandit signs out, maybe just, you know, a few of them with what I could afford. And believe it or not, all the bandit signs got took down. But 3 weeks later...
about how many did you put out?
You're going to make me say that, huh?
I know. I saw.
Like 8.
That's why he's lucky, right?
Like 8, yeah. Now, I mean, we do 500.
Yeah.
You know, so, so yeah, man, I put out 8 bandit signs. That's what I could afford. And they got took down. But like 3 weeks later, because I had my call run number, I got a call in, and they said call from bandit sign. So I started to think, well, man, am I bandit sign somewhere else? Like, somebody pull them down and post them somewhere else. But anyway, it was a seller. He said he saw my number, you know, 2-3 weeks ago, and he finally decided to call.
Oh, wow.
So that was big for me just right away. So that was small win number 1 that I celebrated, because the lesson learned in the small win that was gained was you never know when someone's going to respond to your marketing.
This is something that he's shared with me and shared with other students of mine, is celebrate the small wins, the little things that help you get closer to your goals, right?
Right, 100%. And you have to. So I kind of mentally had myself set that way. I was kind of primed. So yeah, he called 3 weeks later. We met at a property, and I made all the usual mistakes. I got under contract way too high. I was actually okay on the repairs, but I still was slightly under. And I was asking for way too much, obviously, because I had it under contract way too high. So I got butchered. And I mean, man, it took me, you know, probably 2 months to move that deal.
Did you have to renegotiate the seller?
Yeah, I did. So
what did you end up locking up at your final number?
So my final number I got it locked up at was $8,000.
And what was your original number?
$20,000.
Okay, so you still did the deal even making mistakes.
Absolutely. And
so 20,000 down to 8,000. So now you're at 8,000. What did you end up selling that deal for?
So I got a buyer to come in at $13,000.
Wow, I bet that felt really good, didn't it?
It was again, small win. I got it done.
Yeah.
But from a monetary, 2 months, $5,000, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
I said, this ain't gonna work. But I understood, and I was honest with myself. Okay, well, I didn't make a mistake. I just put myself out there for the feedback to learn. So I didn't, you know, I wasn't discouraged. I didn't feel down. I didn't feel like it would not work if I continued. I didn't fail. I knew it was just a moment for feedback.
So many people would love a $13,000 deal right now, but it does take time, right? How much time did that? I mean, there's a lot of time driving to the property. There's time taking pictures, time on the phone.
All that, yeah, and I think we experience it, but I don't think we consciously understand the emotions. You know, getting beat up by a buyer. You know, at the time I had 30 buyers on my list, and I was like, I got one. And everybody, no, I'm not interested. No, I don't want it. No, you want too much. Your repairs are way off. The property needs this. Where are you getting these numbers? I mean, you go through the constant beat up every day, the discouragement, the beat up, the discouragement, the beat up. And it's like, but I just never had that, like, will it work for me? It was like, man, I really got stuck with this property. And again, the mindset was, I got to move this one to get onto another one I can be better at. So that was kind of my first one. And
you always remember your first, right? You remember your first kiss?
Yeah.
You remember your first wholesale deal, right? That's how it is.
Yeah.
We remember these. So now with that deal done, and it's been about a year now, right?
Yeah.
It was about a year. So how was your first year?
I would say in a 12-month span, I think we're just shy of $250,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what have you? Must have been a lot you've learned over the last year.
Oh man.
Well, so thinking about you're talking to people that are just thinking about getting into wholesaling or just started, and maybe they've been doing it for a couple months, and they just haven't seen the results yet. What advice would you give to that person?
I don't want to give a cliche answer, and say that you got to have the right mindset, but I think, there's enough education out there online because everybody's probably going to start online.
Yeah, YouTube University, right?
YouTube
Yeah.
And I think along with watching the videos is you have to understand the expectation, and then you have to be honest that this isn't plug and play. Mm-hmm. You're not going to just jump into, or venture into a new business or to anything, and it's just going to be exactly what you want.
Right. Right.
So I think you have to understand that it's a process, and I've always stated that, sometimes progress is a slow process. So if you trust the process, the progress will follow. So if you're starting out, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so down on yourself. I don't really look at it as failure. It's just, a moment for feedback, and you're still moving forward because you're learning what to do and what not to do. So I would say, and I don't even know if I told you this, I got that deal, and then I told you I wanted to reach out to coaching because I wanted to make sure that I had that love to even want to learn. So after going through that, I knew I was ready for the express lane, and so I kind of was fortunate to do this before coaching and do it after coaching. And I would just say, if you're trying to get started, if you can, find somebody, whether it's local in your market, somebody that you can learn from that can help you, navigate through the business and get, where you want to be as fast as you can. But more so, you just gotta have the right mindset,
What's helped you? You're saying that, so you have mentor coaches or someone that you can call to encourage you or whatever. What makes the difference? I mean, because your results aren't typical compared to other people, right? Sometimes they may get one deal or two deals in a year.
Okay.
Sometimes they may be able to get six figures, maybe break 100,000. But $250,000, that's ramping up pretty fast. And I know you got bigger goals than that for this next year. Mm-hmm. But what keeps you motivated? What keeps you from throwing in the towel and stopping or getting frustrated?
What's the alternative? I mean, that's the question. What's the alternative? I mean, I've been the superstar employee. So, I mean, I see when you ask me that question, man, there's like 10 things that just go through my mind how to answer that question. But to simplify it, first thing is, for my selfish reasons, there is no alternative for me.
Burning the boat.
Burning the boat. Burning the boat. No binoculars. Can't look out. Nowhere else to look. Just forward. And then more so, as I started to understand and talk with people and meet people, I started to gain this insight that there's other people that need to see this work.
Yeah.
So now, if I get a chance to, go through these experiences and come back and say, hey, here's what's on the other side, and I can show you that, or I can tell you that, I feel like, I gained the desire to say, I have to go through this and make this work to show other people. So there is a bit of a, there's a bit of a, I don't know what word I want to use, but I don't want to call it an obsession, but a sense of urgency that I have to. Passion. That's a good word. There's a passion that, where I'm from, man, we need to know that this stuff can't work for you. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Right.
It's simple. Right. It's just not easy. So I have that on my mind, for others.
Let me ask you this, because now you've been able to give back to people too, and just encourage and answer some questions and help out too. Mm-hmm. In what ways has a mentor or a coach shortened your learning curve? And then in retrospect, what is it that you're doing that you think may be helping others as well shorten their learning curve?
So I think my learning curve was shortened quite a bit because, again, I felt like I developed that love before I reached out.
I think one of the biggest things, just outside looking in, is big action taker, taking massive action. Whether it's right or wrong, you always talk about celebrating the small wins. Okay, wrong phone number, you know that one didn't work.
Yeah.
It's like Thomas Edison, right? That light bulb didn't work, so you're going on to the next one.
Yeah, yeah,
So.
and just even like you said, just different strategies with that example. So, I mean, the coaching, you can get education.
Yeah.
I reached out to coaching for instruction. This is what you need to do. Do A, B, C, and D. And I knew I needed to do that times 10. So if it's drop 100 of these, I wanted to drop 200.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the coaching was big for the instruction, and I've had these conversations with you. Is I was glad that I went through this business and got my first one before, and then once I got with you, I was able to actually compare the two, before and the after.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like, I mean, like I said, if you can get in that, if you can accelerate, man, and get in that lane, get coaching and mentoring, I mean, it's helped me stay consistent, help my mind stay, you know, where it needs to be.
You've helped answer a lot of questions for people too. What's the feedback you've gotten from them?
Pretty much, you know, the fear. A lot of people are still afraid. Don't know if it worked. Is it a scam? And I think what I would say I get as far as the feedback is a lot of us still don't have that mindset. We still haven't made that shift.
It is. That's a big.
Yeah.
I think it's until your mind expands to a certain level, you think this is all that. It's like it's all you can achieve, and then all of a sudden you see someone else, start surrounding yourself with other people that are achieving more than you. Like, oh my gosh, they're doing this. Maybe I can do this, and then all of a sudden you hit that. Like, wow, maybe I can even do more, and then
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's what I mean. What's the alternative? Like,
can you ever see yourself working a regular 40-hour work week job and making like $60K a year?
I couldn't do it for $600K a year. Like, I'm seriously, like, I just.
But you have a great work ethic. But the key is like you're in charge of your own destiny, right? And that's some people are just wired differently, and there's nothing against those that aren't, and that's fine. But for those of you that are wired like the entrepreneur, remember you're risking your time, you're risking your money, your capital. So I think one of the things you said is burn the boat and just take massive action. It's helpful to take the right action.
Yeah.
You can take good action. You can take the right action. You can take the wrong action. You can take no action. That's a choice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that take no action, and then you can take massive action. It's better to take massive action that's in the right action too.
Yeah. Like you said, burn the boat. Toss the binoculars. Stand on the other side.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching this. And if any of you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either me or Damius. And thanks for watching this. See ya.